live taste test will be on Super Bowl Sunday against Michelob. Not Miller, not Budweiser, but Michelob. And now let's go back to San Diego for that second half kickoff.
With us is Bob Hope, who is going to celebrate his 30th year on NBC with a big special next Sunday night, and that'll culminate a big week for you, Robert, with the Desert Classic starting earlier.
That's right. I'm going to have about 4 hours next Sunday, but this is an important show because it's the 30th anniversary with about 100 stars, and I tell you, it's pretty exciting. We're rehearsing it right now and doing a lot of it today, and we'll be doing it all week, and we have a great lineup of all the people that have appeared with me over the last 30 years, and let me tell you, it's a lot of laughs. We're very thrilled about it.
Had a chance at all to watch the football today?
Yes, I'm watching it in between takes and in between people running in and off the stage. It's an exciting game down there.
Well, we hope you'll watch the second half with us. We're about ready to go. Good luck next week. They're both in the golf. We'll work on that wedge game of yours, and we'll see you next Sunday night.
Thank you, Dick.
Bob Hope, talk about a super season and the Super Bowl of Mr. Hope.
They're ready to kick it off. Chris Barr back. San Diego gets the ball first. Very important that they get something going right now. Sure that they've had their conversations in the locker room. Let's see what happens with it.
Bauer has it taken away from him by Frank Duncan, and he's toppled at the 24-yard line. And the Chargers, as you've said so many times during the course of this year, Merlin Olsen at first position to establish momentum, power in the second half is so very important.
Pretty interesting first statistics. You look at the yardage, total yardage passing, 243 for the Chargers. But as I said earlier, the most important stat is what's happened at the end of those drives, not between the 20s, between the goal lines. And Oakland has been able to get that ball in the end zone. Look at the turnovers. None for Oakland, 3 for San Diego.
And as we said at the start, Oakland has taken the ball more than any team in the NFL, and San Diego's coughed it up more. Ron Smith dancing out of bounds with a first down at the 35. 11-yard play to Smith, who caught only 4 all season, and then had, of course, the big touchdown pass last week to beat Buffalo. Offense for San Diego, directed by their all-pro quarterback Dan Fouts. His running backs, and that, of course, you use that term loosely because San Diego does not run that much, and Chuck Muncie bruised a shoulder in the first half. We didn't see him in the second quarter, so Mike Thomas is the lone setback. Double tight end, that's Winslow with McCrary on the other side. Wide receivers, Joyner and Jefferson. Thomas dropped at the 35-yard line. Otis McKinney reacting quickly, number 23.
The Oakland Raiders playing 5 defensive backs on first down, daring San Diego to run the football. The Chargers tried to run, but were ineffective there. If they can't force Oakland to come in with the extra linebacker, they're going to be in trouble in this second half.
Oakland stopped the running game of the Eagles in a game you saw here on NBC at midseason when Philadelphia rallied late to beat Oakland 10-7. A lot of time. Intercepted. Dwayne Osteen. A flag is down, and Osteen fumbles, and San Diego recovers. 63, Doug Wilkerson. Out to the 43, but I believe we're going to have interference against Osteen.
John Jefferson back there waving everything back. He said, hey, bring the ball back here because they hit me before the pass arrived, which they did do.
That was at the 46-yard line of Oakland. Now the Raiders trying to continue the pattern of pilfering Fouts passes, but Osteen a bit too rambunctious on that effort.
Osteen, who was acquired from the Los Angeles Rams, has been a valuable acquisition. But he is the guy you almost have to go after in the secondary because you don't want to have to challenge Lester Hayes. Watch the end of the play here. With the ball in the air, Osteen will come over the top of Jefferson right there. And that's the penalty call.
Doesn't he have a right to the ball to go to the ball?
Not when he climbs over the top of the receiver to get it.
That was the argument by the Raiders. And, of course, they've lost it. From the 46. Fouts is down. Cedric Hardman has the first sack of the day for the Oakland Raiders. The veteran Hardman from North Texas State, an all-pro with the 49ers and having a big year at the age of 31. So Fouts loses back to his 45.
Fouts is not a terribly mobile quarterback. Tries to swing.
Tries to get away from Hardman, but Hardman strips him down, puts him on the ground. 2nd and 20 to go. Obviously, San Diego needs to get something going in the second half. Down 14, they can explode.
But they need to get it going now.
Joyner left, Jefferson right. The incomplete, trying to find Jefferson in the middle of that Oakland defense. Appeared they had a zone coverage on that time. Cedric Hardman again applying pressure on Fouts.
I think the key for the Oakland Raiders is they've been able to get pressure on Fouts with 4 rushers. They haven't had to go to the blitzes that they have used in other games, and you don't want to blitz Fouts. Fouts scores when you blitz him. He reads the blitz. He takes advantage of it. They've been able to do it with that offensive line. Hardman, Matuszak, Jones, Browning. They're doing a good job of attacking, and although they have not sacked a lot of times, they've not sacked Fouts, they have made him very uncomfortable in the pocket.
Big 3rd down throw. He's got Joyner. First down, 28-yard line. That's what makes the Chargers so exciting. There is no such thing as 3rd and 2 long for Fouts.
And here's the difference. Look at the amount of time that Dan Fouts has to work. He'll find the open receiver, and he'll drop it into the hands. Charlie Joyner, one of the most disciplined pattern runners in football. In motion, breaking upfield. Watch him find the open territory. Hey, he said, here, get it to me now.
It was Jefferson who had 5 catches over 100 yards last week against Buffalo. Joyner now has 5 catches, 113 yards today, and both touchdowns. Thomas. And they caught Hendricks red dogging from the backside, and they ran away from Hendricks, and a good game by Mike Thomas before Martin and Owens can make the tackle.
And that's exactly what San Diego must do to force the Oakland Raiders out of that 5 defensive back situation. There's room up the middle. Thomas gets in there quickly and takes advantage of it. San Diego has an opportunity now down inside the 20-yard line.
2nd down and a yard, down with which to play for Fouts. Let's see if he goes for 6. Solid hit about at the 19. Rod Martin drilling Thomas. It looks as if it's enough for a first down as they spot it at the 18-yard line.
Thomas went in aggressively and came out going the other way just as fast. Watch the shot right there. A powerful shot by 57 McClanahan, or 53 Rod Martin, actually.
John Brody, you've been following Fouts and the Chargers. Your thoughts?
Well, the simple thing is, Dick, that time Rod Martin made a wonderful play almost at the line of scrimmage, but he's got to cover about 12 yards around the middle of that line. They're playing it with just Hendricks and Martin, and if they can't run up inside, throwing the ball is going to be very tough. They've been fortunate a few times, but it's going to get tougher and tougher down in close.
Yeah, let's see if Fouts stays on the ground. First down at the 18. Going deep. That was Jefferson and Hayes matched up, 2 All-Pros. Jefferson nodding his head to Hayes as if to say, that was a legal bump. We were both going for the ball. Hayes with an interception in the first half, his 5th in the 3 playoff games. You don't want to shake hands with Lester until he's had a very good shower.
Watch the interaction between these 2 great players. Lester Hayes looking back, trying to find that football. Jefferson had 13 touchdown catches during the season, 3 of them against Lester Hayes, and there weren't many thrown on that man during the season.
And Hayes with 13 interceptions. Ron Smith at the 8-yard line. That's going to be close to a first down. That's going to require a measurement.
Dan Fouts again scanning the field. He finds the open man and drills the ball to him. Dwayne Osteen, 35, number 44 Burgess Owens. A little bit of space between them. Fouts takes advantage of it. They're going to measure for the first.
And And it's 1st and goal. Fouts to Smith, who had a little trouble controlling it, but able to latch onto it. This is the drive from the kickoff to open this second half. San Diego has marched steadily downfield to 1st and goal at the 8. Lots of time. Hit the crossbar. Jefferson and Joyner crossing in the end zone. Lester Hayes is right there covering again.
Looked like there was room to run up the middle, but Dan Fouts is not a running quarterback. Ted Hendricks, number 83, played a very crucial role in this game as rusher, as defender. He's dropping back here in defense, looking for Jefferson coming across. Slipped a little bit, but there were just too many black shirts. The difficulty of throwing down there is you compress the amount of room the offense has to work in.
2nd and goal at the 8. Look at the time. Oh my! Jefferson will rarely drop that one. Jefferson hiding on the back line of the end zone and lost it through his fingertips.
Fouts with all kinds of time to throw, but the philosophy obviously for Oakland, they're going to cover everyone, get everybody back defensively, and they're going to let Fouts throw that football. Watch here. Jefferson is alone. The ball zipped to him. A little too much fire on that one. He could not handle it. Try to dance, try to twist around to get it before his toes came out of the end zone, but couldn't do it.
Great coverage by our NBC crew. Larry Cirillo, our producer. Ted Nathanson, our director. 3rd and goal. Again through the hands of Jefferson, who thought that Osteen had interfered. So 2 near misses for San Diego, and Fouts under pressure now will watch the field goal unit come in.
Jefferson running a little pattern, just has trouble getting off the line this timing, and then cuts across the heels of Osteen. He makes those catches more often than he drops them.
Indeed, both of the last 2 chances, Jefferson, that's easy picking for him. Rolf Brynerska from the 16-yard line, a 26-yard attempt. And San Diego settles for 3. So the Chargers, with a solid drive downfield, get 3, and it's now 28-17.
Good luck, Jim. Thanks, Mom.
Somebody's going to hire themselves the best little artist this side of the Mississippi.
I hope so.
Spread your wings, fly away. Nothing's all that far.
What you looking for?
My first job. Oh, Flight 117.
You're going my way. Come on.
Follow the sunshine. Reach for a star.
I've got a safe place for this. It's only your career, right?
Right.
Feeling that the wind's behind you.
That's me.
Yeah. You want it?
Hey, that's great. You're really good. Anything I can get you?
How about a job down there?
Oh, I think you're gonna do just fine. Do you know how to get downtown? Here.
That's what friendly skies are all about.
Midtown Manhattan, 285 Madison Avenue between 40th and 41st. Take the tunnel.
Yes, ma'am. Fly the friendly skies.
On NBC Sports World, see the greatest lineup of figure skaters ever to compete in one competition. Plus basketball's Meadowlark Lemon with the great Wilt Chamberlain next Sunday.
San Diego gets 3, but Jefferson thought he should have had 6, John Brody.
Dick, I think the amazing thing is that John Jefferson, the man that got him into this playoff title ball game, has dropped 4 balls that could have led to scores. 1 early in the second quarter, 1 toward the end of the half, and 2 in the end zone on this particular drive. He's the man that's won ball games for him. I think the encouraging part is Fouts is not going to go away from him. They'll be back down.
You can count on that. Thanks, John. Brynerska's kick. Arthur Whittington, the 10, and to the 22-yard line to match the number on his back, the former SMU star. So the Raiders have the football for the first time in the second half. What do you expect, Len Dawson, from Jim Plunkett?
Well, I know this, and he's going to have a wonderful opportunity on first down because they are ahead. I think you're going to see the linebackers of San Diego coming up close to the line of scrimmage to stop the run. He has not been able to get the ball beyond the linebackers because they get such great depth. I think on first down, it would be a great opportunity for the Oakland Raiders to throw some play-action passes and get behind the linebackers.
All right, Plunkett, there are his first half statistics. Branch and Chandler both to the right. Chester, the tight end, on the left. And Plunkett's going to throw on first down. And one hops it to Chandler. Chandler was wide open.
One of the things you notice about Plunkett, he throws some passes with great zip and accuracy, and other times it would appear that he loses confidence in a pass. He does not throw it with velocity, and the end result is that it ends up being a pass like that, poorly thrown and occasionally intercepted.
Chandler back, very happy to be back on the West Coast. He was the one Raider who suffered some frostbite in the win at Cleveland last weekend. He's also playing with a dislocated thumb and a dislocated finger. Good protection underneath to Chester, and he is met solidly by Woodrow Lowe. Third down 6.
Plunkett getting a chance to examine the defense of the Chargers. Gets the opening here. You see the crossing pattern, number 88, Chester, but well adapted to by the linebackers. Defensively, you're willing to give him that shot up front, but you got to get to the ball carrier, to the receiver, and shut him off from the extra yardage.
Third and 6. We understand Lester Hayes receiving some attention from the doctors and trainers on the Oakland Raiders sidelines for his calves. Plunkett. And San Diego's defense gets a cheer. Apparently Hayes is all right. That's the 5th sack by the Chargers. Leroy Jones, his mother Josephine, down in Mississippi. He hasn't seen her for 2 years. He wants to get to the Super Bowl because Mama's going to get her tickets, and they can have their reunion. Raymond Guy.
The early momentum here, Dick, offensively and defensively, swinging towards San Diego. They've still got a long ways to come to get themselves back into a tie with Oakland.
Only Fuller back, 10 men on the line for San Diego. Oh, they almost got it. Glenn Edwards was close. Fuller at the 31. 45. He's all the way to the 41-yard line. For Fuller after a 46-yard Guy punt.
Sometimes Ray Guy kicks the ball so far that it's hard to carry. Hard to get down there to make the tackle. Unusual to have a good return off a play of this kind. With the block coming, there's no organized block, or there's no organized return. They were very lucky. That's almost all individual effort coming back.
Mike Fuller, a great effort. Mike Thomas takes it to the 38 of Oakland. We have 8 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Oakland leading first 7-0. Then San Diego tied. Then Oakland ran off 3 touchdowns, 28-7, before the Chargers scored late in the first half. San Diego's first possession of the second half led to a field goal. After 3 plays and a punt, San Diego back in business. 2nd down and 7. Bouts to Winslow. That's his first catch today, and a first down. Winslow, going into the second half of this game, had completed more passes than he had caught. Remember, he had that long pass in the first half.
Excellent play. Fouts getting a lot of time, zips this one on a string. And Winslow, what a graceful athlete he is for a man that tall. No question, people are going to go looking for Kellen Winslows and try and put him at tight end if they can find him.
First down. And a whistle. There was movement before the snap. Jefferson all for naught. Mike Thomas might have nudged forward before the snap.
False start. Offense.
So that will cost San Diego 5 yards. Philadelphia beat Dallas 20-7. These two teams both were engaged with the Eagles during the course of the regular season. Just to refresh your memory.
False start. Moving before the stats. Snap. Number 62, 67. First down.
San Diego defeated Philadelphia here 22-21, and Oakland lost at Philadelphia 10-7. No matter who wins this game in San Diego, it appears it will be a great rematch with the Eagles 2 weeks hence. Winslow in motion. The throw to Thomas. Winslow with a block. And Thomas all the way to the 18. That's close to a 15-yard gain.
Thomas has had a tremendous load. Since the injury to Muncy, he's had to be running game and now pass receiver. But literally a running back, once that ball is in his hands, he knows where that first down yardage is. He looks like he may have gotten it.
Well, they cleared out with Winslow, and there's number 80 Winslow throwing a block on Osteen. Good play. Just short. Don Coryell's Chargers, second down in inches.
John Brody, question for you. Is this a gambling down? Second down in inches?
Merlin, I think it's a situation where it's better to have second down in inches than it is to have first and 10. They've got 3 downs to pick up a first down. They would love to have the ball first down. I think he'll do something simply to keep the drive alive. I don't think he's going to fire the ball in the end zone. Some people might predict that. And if he does, they've still got Matt Millen in the ball game. Their short yardage defense is there. If they've got a good play, they'll probably use it.
Well, I tell you, defensively, your philosophy has to be we protect for the pass, because you got to be frightened of the ability to throw this down away.
Chargers with a solid third quarter, trying to pull ever closer. Winslow. Flags are down. Winslow to the 8-yard line. Against the Raiders, that'll be declined. It's first and goal. San Diego at the 8. Now it was at this spot on the opening drive of the half that the Chargers stalled and had to come in with the Bernerska field goal. But stalling is perhaps not the proper term, because John Jefferson had 2 touchdown chances and, uncharacteristic of him, could not latch on to either.
Defense before the pass. Penalties decline. First down.
Ted Hendricks trying to slow someone down. First and goal at the 8. And this Charger crowd starting to believe again with 6:53 left in the third quarter. Thomas to the 6. Reggie Kinlaw from Oklahoma, the middle guard for the Raiders, made the stop. Here comes Chuck Muncy back into the ball game for the first time since early in the game. 6.5 minutes left in this third quarter.
Muncy obviously in the game because of his physical stature, short yardage, running game. That's the work of big men, and Muncy's one of the biggest backs in the NFL.
They like to run him to the left. Here he goes. Touchdown! Chargers have scored 10 points in this third quarter. Once down 28-7. They've now pulled to 28-23. Mike Fuller will hold for Benerska. It was Fuller's punt return that set up the score. Good.
You called it exactly right. They like to put Muncie over that left side. He gets excellent blocking. Big Ed White, number 67. Wilkerson, 63, out in front of him. But he could have gone a long ways further if he'd had to.
So with 6:13 left in the third quarter, Oakland's lead is 4.
The Motor Trend Car of the Year award is no beauty contest. The car that wins must top the contenders after more than 50 tough Motor Trend evaluations. In 1978, Chrysler's Omni and Horizon won. This year, Chrysler's K-Cars are the 1981 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Overall, they beat every Ford and GM contender. Now make your best deal on the Motor Trend Car of the Year. Then get a check from Chrysler for $430 to $790.
Taste the high country. Taste the high country.
Once you taste the high country, no downstream beer will do. Coors is brewed with pure Rocky Mountain spring water and its own special high country barley.
It's no downstream beer.
It's no city beer. It's Coors.
Taste the high country. Climb up to Coors.
See the total number of drives, 6, 59 yards, but this is the crucial play. Muncie coming behind the excellent blocking of his offensive line, hurling himself into the end zone.
Well, that's just like it was drawn in Coryell's playbook. Great execution. 28-24, the kickoff, Benerska. Moody and Whittington deep. It's Whittington. Jerome Dove was there first at the 22-yard line. John Brody, let's go back to the touchdown. Let's see why Muncie had such a wide open route.
Well, Dick, it's interesting to note that the two people in closest pursuit are Otis McKinney and Cedric Hardman, both passing situation defensive football players. They thought Muncie was in there as a decoy. They knew his shoulder was bad. He surprised them, put it down, and slipped it in. Otis McKinney and Cedric Hardman on this side, 5 defensive back situation. They fooled him, ran it in the end zone.
Kellen Winslow with a great lead block. This crowd giving Plunkett problems just hearing. Van Egan plows to the 26. Kelcher and Horn with the tackle.
The Oakland Raiders cannot afford to think at all about just running out that clock. A three-point lead against this San Diego Charger team is nothing. They can explode on you instantly.
4 points, 28-24 the score.
His tackles never could have.
I didn't want to say that. Second down,
or
7.
subtract.
Kenny King, bubble! Or was that something that looked like the ball was free? I guess it was just somebody's shoe seemed to fly there. Kelcher made the tackle as King with a burst of speed has a Oakland first down at the 34. See that play again.
Kenny King getting a good shot here. Dave Dalby, number 50, crawling over there to get into the block. Louis Kelcher. But he has the first down.
That's the initial first down of the second half for the Raiders. Plunkett to King. Look at that speed. Caught from behind at the 45-yard line by Willie Buchanan. King electrifying. That's the man that ran 89 yards for a touchdown against the Chargers in the game at Oakland.
22-yard play, and that's the kind of explosiveness that King was not capable of during the last half of the season because of that ankle. Watch him accelerate. Now watch it. He'll see the opening and just burst for it. Almost broke away. Shoestring tackle by one of the secondary kept him from getting out of there, but they're inside Charger territory down the 44-yard line.
4 minutes, 10 seconds left in the third quarter. Oakland 28, San Diego 24. Plunkett to Chester, who came back to meet the ball, and Chester's to the 25, and another Oakland first down. In case you joined us late, Chester was the man who caught a deflected pass. King was the intended receiver, went through his hands to Chester, and he went for an opening touchdown of 65 yards.
Chester, for all of you receivers out there, watch what he does when the quarterback gets in trouble. Comes back to the football and makes a great play after he gets the football. Ground to get the extra yardage.
Chester noticing that Plunkett's in trouble. He says, "Here I am," and he ran right away from Mike Fuller. First down at the 26. King to the 18-yard line. Oh, is he quick. Mike Williams at the corner for San Diego made the tackle. And Fouts waiting his turn. 8 yards for King at 2nd and 2.
And on the tackle, number 42, Mike Fuller.
Has a first down at the 15. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third quarter. And we're all excited, as you well can imagine, to be sharing with you that Super Bowl experience 2 weeks from today. The entire crew will be in the Superdome in New Orleans. It's a big, big day, so make your plans, have your parties, join us early. A spectacular pregame show. NFL 80 is arranged, and then the action. The Eagles will meet the winner of this game.
Jim Plunkett could get it in the end zone here. He certainly improves the chances for his Oakland Raiders to be in that game.
That's Branch in motion. Van Egan. Nicely read by Fred Dean, who trailed the play and made the tackle.
He picked up 2 yards. Tackle by number 71, Fred Dean.
Lots of pressure on the defense here. Dean, primarily a pass rusher, but because of his great speed, able to make that kind of play from behind. He's had chronic groin problems. It's been difficult for him during the last part of the season. Watch the acceleration here. That's a back he's running in behind, but he has great quickness.
Van Egan with 32 yards rushing, King 29. So San Diego's really stopped the running game as you look into the eyes of Plunkett. King to the 8-yard line, short of the first down. Glenn Edwards dragged him down.
And off to number 33.
Defensively, a setup for maybe the biggest play of the day for this San Diego defense so far. Third down, about 2.5 yards to go. What are you going to do? Well,
Arthur Whittington brought in the play from the sidelines to Plunkett. Almost 3 yards for the first down. Whittington ran into his quarterback, and he is stopped. The play misfires. Fred Dean with the ball, but going nowhere, and now the field goal unit comes on for Oakland.
Tremendous penetration on the right-hand side. Watch the pressure coming in right there. It's Gary Johnson, I believe, 79, diving for him. He had to change the pattern of the play, and Whittington had no chance. But if you can get into the backfield and cause problems for timing, you can make that kind of play defensively.
Chandler to hold at the 17, a 27-yard kick by Barr, who had his troubles here in the first game between these teams. Not on that one. Barr drills it through, and with 49 seconds left in the third quarter, the Raiders are back on top by a touchdown. The score in San Diego, Oakland 31, the Chargers 24.
When you've got to rely on your vehicles, rely on AC Delco.
Working. AC Delco.
Hot firing AC fire ring spark plugs, AC filters, Delco shocks, cold cranking Delco Freedom 2 batteries, and more. AC Delco's a whole line of hard work and replacement parts.
AC Delco, working hard for you.
For over 50 years, hard-working people have relied on AC Delco parts for just about anything that moves.
AC Delco, working hard for you.
Division of General Motors.
On my weekly New York television show, I advise people on the best restaurants, gourmet food, and fine wine. Of course, advising about wine can be difficult, but a wine I confidently recommend is Hearty Burgundy from Ernest and Julio Gallo. A delightful wine with a most enjoyable taste. The truth is, the more you know about wine, the more you appreciate Gallo.
Hearty Burgundy from the winery of Ernest and Julio Gallo.
A world premiere. His daughter was dying, so he made a pact with God.
Oh, Father, let her live so I can love her.
300 Miles for Stephanie, a true story Monday.
Well, when these two teams met the first two times this year, not unlike this one, they were equally exciting games.
We did both those games. We saw these two teams battle on equal terms, although I think Oakland, actually, even in the game they lost, outplayed the San Diego Chargers. Because you've got to feel the pulse in this stadium. These people believe their Chargers are back, and the Raiders are going to have to take it away from them.
It's 31-24 as Barr hits a long one. Bauer, the 10. And down at the 21-yard line. Tackle made by Joel Campbell, former New Orleans Saint, a #1 draft pick out of Maryland. Well, Fouts has been hot since the score was 28-7. His team has outscored the Raiders 17-3. Fouts putting it in the air as always. And we have a timeout. 40 seconds left in the third quarter here in San Diego. And we're all going to need some air before this one's over. Oakland by a touchdown.
Business has discovered a whole new problem.
Oh, my.
The flood of information.
Help.
How do you use information instead of being inundated by it? You get the Xerox 860 Information Processor. It helps you manage words and numbers. And if you plug it into the Xerox information outlet, the 860 can share huge amounts of information with other office machines through the Ethernet network, giving every organization what it needs most: better organization.
Hey, Michelob Light for the winning team, okay?
You guys would do that for us?
Would a bunch of guys really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
You guys never played like that before.
Hey, we never played for a Michelob Light before.
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
See dramatic fourth and final round coverage as top celebrities and golf's top pros try to take home the title of the prestigious Bob Hope Desert Classic next weekend on NBC.
A big week on NBC, that Bob Hope Desert Classic, and of course Bob's special next Sunday. 31-24, San Diego trails with the ball. The Chargers at the 22. Fouts going long for Jefferson. Incomplete. Dwayne Osteen on the coverage.
Jefferson hit hard on the ground.
John Brody, take us into Dan Fouts' huddle.
I think, Dick, when you start talking about the thoughts of Dan Fouts, there's one thing he has to guard against. He's home. I know he's excited. His group thinks they can score touchdowns at will right now because they're on a hot streak. But remember, Matt Millen is not in the middle. They're playing pass on first down, second down, and third down. You notice how little time he takes to throw the ball, but they've got to run something up the middle. I noticed they had Muncie in the last play. They've got to work something on the ground because Matusik has got to stay at home if they're going to keep him off the passing.
Ted Hendricks can't get him, but Willie Jones does, and Fouts is sacked for the second time. Could well be the last play of this third quarter. 29 seconds left. It was Hendricks who forced Fouts to look elsewhere as he went firing in from a position on the opposite side from where you normally would find him.
Doing his freelancing, he'll work all up and down that line, and he really makes it tough on the offensive linemen and the pickup people at backs who are supposed to be taken care of. But again, it's that bad matchup for San Diego. Willie Jones on Dan Audick that cost him the sack.
See if Fouts gets a play off before the end of the third quarter. 14-13-12. Greg McCrary is in at tight end. Jefferson and Joyner both to the right. This is 3rd and 15. Jefferson slipped as he made his cut. 1 second left in the quarter. And Fouts very slow in getting up. It was Hendricks again coming in hard.
Watch Jefferson as he makes his cut here. Plants that foot and just trips. And that's dangerous because that ball is already in the air.
Meanwhile, Kellen Winslow took quite a pop. Monty Jackson 42 on the coverage. I see. He pulled a muscle. He pulled calf muscle, did Winslow. That should not be serious.
Looks like it might be a cramp, Dick.
Partridge. Oh, short kick. But it takes a nice bounce for San Diego. Ira Matthews is to the 49 of Oakland. Tackle made by Hank Bauer, and that is the end of the third quarter at San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium. The score after 3, Oakland 31, San Diego 24. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Friday, January 16th, William Conrad is Nero Wolfe, the world-famous detective of mystery novels.
You hired a professional assassin.
And introducing Lee Horsley as Archie. Next Saturday, it's Walking Tall. Bo Svensson as the real-life Sheriff Buford Pusser.
Book those two for attempted murder.
2 new series. Nero Wolfe premieres Friday. Walking Tall premieres next Saturday.
The Holiday Casino in Rocky Centers present the all-new Wild World of Burlesque 81, still only $6.95, including 2 drinks, starring the Fabulous Walkers with the Zany Volantes, Jay Nemeth and Nikki, Jacqueline the Disco Queen, plus the most beautiful girls. The Holiday Casino is still the best bargain spot on the Strip with the famous $1.17 deluxe breakfast, the big $2.47 luncheon buffet, and the super $3.47 dinner buffet with tender roast beef and deep Southern fried chicken. The Holiday Casino, call 732-2411.
You could win $1 million or one of many cash prizes in the Sahara Hotel's $1 million free-for-all. To play, just go to any Sahara Hotel and register your 5 lucky numbers on one of these cards. If your numbers are the first to come up in sequence on our prize board, you're the winner of the $1 million grand prize. It costs you nothing to play, but you must be 21 or older. And it's happening now at Del Webb Sahara Hotels in Las Vegas, Reno, and Lake Tahoe.
It's nice to come home to TV3.
They're still very much alive in San Diego. Friday was San Diego Charger Day. I understand all the school kids, elementary through high school, all wore their blue and yellow. The spirit, the Chargers, and they're down to 15 minutes to go. 31-24 the score. The Raiders in front. Oakland good field position at its 49. Van Egan to the 37-yard line, and a first down for the Raiders. Third quarter statistics.
As you might expect, favoring the San Diego Chargers substantially, but tremendous yardage gained by both these teams so far in this game. Plunkett, Dick, has averaged 23.3 yards per pass completion today. You talk about the long bomb and going deep. He's done it today.
And that's true to form for the Raiders. Nothing much there as Whittington to the 35, 2nd and 8. Kellen Winslow receiving some attention, and from that expression it would appear that he's studying a chess move. He's going to be all right. He was an outstanding and is an outstanding chess player. He said, who's been your toughest opponent in chess? He said, I don't know. No one's beaten me yet. Lester Hayes appearing to be asking for a little extra help. 2nd and 8. Wide open is Chester. Good tackle by Woodrow Lowe at the 30, short of the first down. 3rd and 3 for the Raiders. Len Dawson, now you take us under that helmet of Jim Plunkett.
Well, we had mentioned before the show that he has to exercise patience. Do not turn the ball over, because the Oakland Raiders get the ball from the other team more than anybody in the National Football League. He has done it. This is just the 3rd possession that Oakland has had in the second half. They did get 1 field goal, and they're moving right now. So Plunkett's doing a great job.
Woody Lowe making the tackle. The Raiders are ready to put it in play on 3rd and 3. Kenny King back into the lineup. Flags are down. Wide open is Branch. And the speedster has a first down at the 24, but first the penalty.
Several defenders jumping offside. Got to wonder if maybe one of the Oakland offensive linemen moved prior to the snap.
No. Cal LaFleur signaling the 5-yard penalty against San Diego, and the Raiders, well, they gained about 6 on it. They'll take the play.
Dick, normally the San Diego Charger team is not prone to mistakes, but watch the aggressiveness here. 79 Johnson and Kelcher. I think Kelcher may be triggered by the action of Johnson. He's looking for that football out of his right eye, and he saw the action over there. I think it got him started.
I don't think we've ever really made that point. You defensive linemen, that's what you're looking at, the ball movement. You're reacting totally to that. You're not really looking at anything else specifically.
Or to movement on the other side of the line. And when you see sometimes the movement out of the corner of your eye, that triggers you.
13 minutes, 4 seconds left. First down play. Van Egan to the 20. Louis Kelcher. You don't drag Big Louis very far.
Same play that Van Egan made the gain a few moments ago on, cutting back against the grain, starting to the right side and then knifing back to try and take advantage of the lack of pursuit by San Diego from that right side. Big number 74, Louis Kelcher, left tackle. Watch him here. He's going to react back to the play now. Good job of getting back to it. They'd sealed off Gary Big Hands Johnson. Had Louis not gotten a hold of that runner, Van Egan would have made some fine yardage on that play.
Van Egan. And he was well covered. Fuller, the safety man. 3rd down and 6. Remember, the Raiders have a 7-point lead. A field goal for them in this situation gives them a fine opportunity to force San Diego to have to get 2 big scores. So we would think that Plunkett will play it carefully if he does not find a man open.
Plunkett getting quite a bit of help in his game plan today. Receivers coming in, backs coming in with plays from the sideline.
Complete to Chandler at the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Raiders. A flag. I thought I saw a flag drop in the end zone. Now, maybe that's just something from the fans, but there is a yellow something in the end zone. Apparently,
not a flag.
Apparently just some fan refuse.
Gene Upshaw talked about the importance of giving Plunkett time. Plunkett actually scrambling here gets enough time by stopping, finding some open territory. He has done that so well today. Bobby Chandler playing with those 2 bad hands. I don't know how a man can catch the football as well as he can. Dislocated thumb on one hand, dislocated pinky on the other. He said this is the first week that he hasn't had splints on both of those fingers.
That's amazing. And with those soft hands of his, he gave them the 1st and goal, and now it's 2nd and goal from outside the 7. And all the time, the Raiders chewing up the clock. 11-15, 11-14, 11-13. There is the item they thought might have been a flag deep in the end zone. One of the cards that say Charger power. Both receivers to the left. Chandler with Branch in the slot. Van Egan again cutting back inside to the 3. Dean and Kelcher the tackle. Boy, 2 Pro Bowlers that have played outstanding football defensively for Don Coryell.
They put big Wilbur Young in place of Gary Johnson. Wilbur playing the run more efficiently, but Van Egan still running that same play, starting the action to the right, cutting back against the grain, getting good yardage in that particular play.
Oakland on 3rd and goal brings in some extra beef. Todd Christensen, tight end or a fullback. Derek Jensen in there as well. So it's Van Egan and Jensen. And Plunkett doesn't like the defense and calls time. Now Plunkett, you'll recall in the game at Cleveland, called time down by the goal line. Talked it over, came back with the same play, and that was the winning touchdown scored by Van Egan. Timeout, 10 minutes, 18 seconds left. Oakland by 7.
All over America, do-it-yourselfers are becoming Stanley Super Doers. They're doing bigger things, and they're doing them better and better. They depend on Stanley tools for measuring things right, for shaping things right, for making joints fit right. Tools that work right are made by Stanley, the do-it-yourself company.
Stanley, we want to help you do things right.
For a Super Bowl super deal on the NFL thermos jug and mugs, look for specially tagged Stanley tools.
At 50.
This front-wheel drive Dodge Aries K Coupe has America's highest 6-passenger mileage and lowest 6-passenger price, $58.80, with its rich custom-pleated interior. Or equip Aries the way you like. Automatic transmission, power steering, deluxe wheel covers, white walls, AM radio. Choose the ones you want or take them all for only $65.95. 4-door, $100 additional. Aries K at your Dodge Ram dealer.
Now make your best deal on a new 81 Dodge, then get $380 to $1,200 direct from Chrysler on top of it.
Over 52,000 fans, partisan crowd in San Diego. The Raiders scored first on a freak tip pass that went from King to Chester, 65 yards. They've led throughout. They were tied at 7. Then Oakland, using turnovers to full advantage, scored 3 straight touchdowns to lead 28-7. San Diego a score before the half, made it 28-14. Chargers a strong third quarter, but now the Raiders leading 31-24 have a chance to take more than a touchdown lead. This is 3rd and goal. Plunkett. He didn't fool anyone. Woodrow Lowe. The big play man, the linebacker from Alabama, Lowe, read it all away.
You have to take some risks defensively in a situation like this. The blitz is on. 51 Low. Plunkett has no chance to get out of the way. They not only take the down away from them, but they've taken what was a chip shot for a field goal and stretched it out a little bit.
It will be now a 32-yard field goal, maybe 33, as Barr comes in. Got it. And a big 3 points it is for the Oakland Raiders. Timeout. 9 minutes and 46 seconds left. And the Raiders now enjoy a 10-point advantage.
Half the houses in America still don't have enough insulation. So to ease the pain of high fuel and electric bills, smart homeowners are adding more Owens Corning fiberglass insulation. Up in the attic, on walls exposed to cold or heat, under floors and unheated crawl spaces. Put your house in the pink, too. Add more Owens Corning fiberglass insulation today.
If you're shopping for a new car, it's smart to talk to an Allstate agent before you buy.
Before I buy? Why?
Some cars get a break on insurance at Allstate.
Oh, we'll be right back.
Let's face it, all cars aren't built the same. At Allstate, some cost less to insure.
Buy one of these, and we'll pass the savings on to you. Up to 35% less on comprehensive.
35%?
We'll be right back.
Different rates for different cars. You're in good hands with Allstate.
That's a promise for me, Judy Davis.
It's an all-new BJ and the Bear. BJ moves to Hollywood and hires 7 sexy lady truckers in the 2-hour action-packed season premiere Tuesday.
Charger power in San Diego. They were dressed like that in Philadelphia today as well. Barr nails a line drive through the hands of Bauer. That's a muff and goes out of the end zone for the touchback at the 20. Oh, we have a moment. Just want to give credit to Chris Barr. He had his problems kicking through the course of the year. In fact, in the first game of the season here at San Diego, he was 1 for 6 field goals, but he's been perfect in the playoffs, making all 9 points after and 4 of 4 field goals. They get a lot of boos to those kickers when they miss, and let's give them credit when they're solid.
It's quite a comeback. There are a lot of comeback stories on the Oakland side of the field.
Dan Fouts has Chuck Muncie behind him. That's Jefferson in motion. Ron Smith splits right. Joyner to the left. Fouts going long for Smith. Incomplete, and he had beaten Monty Jackson. Jackson just stayed close to him and hoped that he could look at the right time. We've been measuring the time for the quarterbacks all day. Let's check Fouts on that last toss.
Relatively a deep pass, about a 25-yarder downfield, but thrown in 1.9 seconds. And he had to throw that quickly because Willie Jones was coming right over the top after him. The ball on target, but just too difficult to handle when you got a defender right on top of it.
Monty Jackson, who played college ball here at San Diego State and was a top player with the Rams, in fact led the NFL in interceptions with the Rams 4 years ago. Smith, and again it's Jackson to break it up. Monty's brother Terry, a member of the New York Giants club. Monty has not played much. He's had some injury problems this year and held only 1 interception.
It looked like Smith pitched on that one. It looked like he had a chance maybe to accelerate and get his hands on it. May have misjudged the football.
There's old Highway 63 on the sidelines. Gene Upshaw, 23rd playoff game for Upshaw.
Muncy out of the ball game. Thomas in. 1 back. 4 receivers.
3 wide receivers plus Winslow. He's on the right side. Now it's a triple right. And wide open is Joyner. Osteen knocks him out of bounds at the 36. First down, San Diego. Joyner's had a big day for Don Coryell.
Fouts with Joyner all the way on that pass. Charlie, as we said, is one of the most disciplined receivers in football. Crafty veteran who announced to his teammates early this year that he was thinking about finishing it this year, but they're trying to talk him into staying around. He has had a rather remarkable season.
And a remarkable day. 6 catches, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Joyner. Approaching the 9-minute mark of this 4th quarter. 10-point lead for Oakland. Muncy, he's got some blockers. Down he goes with a first down at the 48-yard line. Willie Jones made the tackle.
Wide receivers must do more than just catch passes. Number 84, Smith. On 83, Hendricks got enough of Hendricks to bother him, give him some trouble, and Muncy got outside of Hendricks, got into the secondary, made a nice gain. Willie Jones shaken up on the play. The trainers come all the way across from the Oakland side. Smith also shaken up. Found out that Hendricks is hard as rocks out there. The clock, by the way, Dick, now an enemy for the San Diego Chargers. They'd like to be able to mix their plays. They need to run occasionally to keep the defense honest, but they also need more than a touchdown to get back in this game. They've got to move it down the field as fast as they can.
Kenny King on the sidelines as both players appear to be okay, Jones and Smith. Jones heading toward the Raider bench. Dan Fouts, again, to give the fans a measure of appreciation of his talent. And the quarterback throws for, well, we'll ask our gentlemen, Len Dawson and John Brody. You throw for 300 yards, you've had a big day, but Fouts had 8 of those this year. An unprecedented season. He's over 300 yards again today. Was that your measuring stick, John, for a big day?
Not at all. I think you can look on the other side of the coin and see that Plunkett's had an exceptional day, but he's been able to pick and choose. Fouts is in a situation where he's got to throw the ball with 9 minutes, as you alluded to, and he hasn't got that luxury.
Almost intercepted by Monty Jackson as Fouts' throw came up short as he was being drilled by the defensive charge of Dave Browning.
What about you, Lenny Dawson? We talked to John about 300-yard day. Was that a measuring stick for you, or were you more concerned about the score on the board?
Merlin, you know, the only measuring stick is when you look up at the end of 60 minutes and you have more points than the opposition. But I think both quarterbacks have done a very good job. But John is right. Plunkett has had no turnovers. That's the difference in this ball game right now.
Fouts has been intercepted twice. Under pressure, batted in the air. Volleyball spiked by that Raider front 4. Browning and Hendricks were both there.
And that was Ted Hendricks, number 83, coming all the way around behind. He'd moved all the way down to the right end and come all the way back around. San Diego knows that Hendricks is going to be coming, and yet here he is, still able to get there from the backside, along with Matuzak, number 72, I believe, coming in from the left side of your screen. Combination deadly for Fouts. He's facing a tough situation here at 3rd and 10.
And Matuzak, not a bad spiked man at 6'8". Hendricks is 6'7". Browning 6'5". Hardman 6'4". and 10. Wide open. Winslow. And he gets out of bounds. First down at the 31. And Fouts with some more third down magic.
Fouts has been magnificent in the tough situations today. But look at that receiver. Give him some credit, too. Winslow finding the open territory. Looks like he's still having trouble with that calf. Running with a little problem here. Breaking outside. Scooping that one off the ground. Excellent catch.
Good hands by Winslow. Caught 89 this year to lead the NFL. And he stopped the clock with 8:32 left. Muncy and Hendricks guessed right. Mike Davis also in support.
Raiders felt that might be time for a changeup. Hendricks had started inside. I'm sure they'd made some adjustments in their blocking assignments, and then quickly at the snap of the ball moved back outside. No room for Muncy to get through there at all.
Well, what a career for Hendricks. He was 3 times an All-American at the University of Miami, Florida, and now 5 times an All-Pro. He wasn't drafted until the second round by Baltimore, despite his All-American status, because they thought he was too skinny. Winslow, and a flag is down. That's going to be interference against the Raiders. Monty Jackson on the cover. Winslow's hurt. Illegal use of the hands against the defense. And Winslow is hurt. Oh, he almost speared that ball one-handed and had himself in an awkward position when hit by Jackson.
Looked like he was going to catch it, just snatch it out of the sky with those big hands of his, but he went down hard and twisted as he went down. Watch the play here. Up high in the air, grabs that football, and Jackson pulling him down from behind. You see the twist. Winslow's back is twisted as he comes down, but he's up, he's moving. And you hear the response from this San Diego crowd. They love Kellen Winslow and the big plays that he has brought to San Diego this year. You see him twisting as he goes down. Monty has a hold of his head.
Well, he told us where the secret to those soft hands of his. Maybe we get a chance later and gets back in there and we'll share it with you as he told us the story. First down on the penalty at the 25. Early movement in the line by the Chargers. That'll cost them 5.
The right-hand side of the line looked like Dan Audick. A little quick and getting off. A lot of mistakes by the San Diego team today. Unusual for them. They're a well-drilled, well-coached, efficient veteran team, but they have made a lot of crucial mistakes, a lot of penalties today.
False start, 67. Offense moving before the snap. First down.
And White. And they ticketed, although both White and Audick moving before the snap.
The Oakland Raiders have led throughout. They're in front 34-24, the winner to the Super Bowl against the Eagles. 7 minutes, 42 seconds left. This is 1st and 15. Is that a fumble? And it's Hendricks again. The Raiders have the ball as Ted Hendricks has just done a pickpocket, but there's a flag downfield. And we'll see, we may have something against the Raider defense. So San Diego retains possession. A crucial mistake against Monty Jackson.
Greg McCrary has been on the field for a good part of the day, in spite of that painful back injury. But he's also had some problems doing his job out there. On that particular play, he was assigned to block Ted Hendricks. Got a good push off on him, but Hendricks was the man that took the ball out of Fouts' hands.
Illegal contact, 42, defense, first down.
Oh, a big turnaround. Instead of Oakland with the ball, San Diego still is deep in Raider territory.
There's the action right there, outside of that 5-yard zone, and still contact. And of course, that's illegal. You see the flag coming in right at the heels of Monty Jackson, number 42.
Last 3 plays have resulted in penalties, 2 against Oakland. Muncy. All the way to the 9-yard line. First and goal. He stops the clock with exactly 7.5 minutes remaining.
Oakland doing some of their own gambling, thinking pass all the way. Muncy getting good blocking, and you've got to mix it up offensively, especially when you've got those 5.
Kellen Winslow again with a nice block, Merlin.
Kellen's had a big day. He's making a first block, and then he comes back for a second one. Beautiful cut down there. That's the one that sprung him for those last 7-8 yards.
First and goal, almost a full 10 yards to go for San Diego. Draw to Muncy. Bubbles! And did he get it back? Yes. Oh, that brought some hearts up into San Diego throats. Raiders think they got the ball, but it's ruled that San Diego retains possession.
It looked like Muncy ever really got his hands on that football. Let's let you look at it. Watch the handoff. It didn't appear that Muncy was able to get clear possession of that ball, thinking ahead of where he was going to carry that ball and not concentrating on taking the handoff. They're lucky to get that one back.
Muncy recovering his own fumble in a sea of black. Second and goal from the 10. John Floyd in the game for San Diego. Here's Muncy. Breaks a tackle. And he's to the 9-yard line. Well, what an effort by Mike Davis to come up to slow down Muncy. NBC's exciting program, Chips, will be seen tonight in its entirety following the conclusion of our coverage from San Diego over most of these stations, except for most Mountain and Pacific time zone stations where Chips will be seen at its regular time. So stay tuned. We'll have it in its entirety right after the game. Third and goal.
That was a big play by Mike Davis. Excellent tackle. Muncy, if he'd been able to keep his balance, would have been very close to that goal line.
Triple left formation. Fouts. Oh, had Winslow open and overshot him. Fourth and goal, and apparently Coryell will go to the field goal. And Winslow limping again.
Still having trouble with that calf. Stretched all the way out. I think perhaps a healthy Kellen Winslow would have made this catch. Almost a basketball play again, a double pick. And they throw it a little high to Winslow. You see him surge off that leg, and he comes up grabbing that right calf.
An apparent 28-yard field goal. Benershka drills it through. 6 minutes, 52 seconds left. The Raiders still lead by a touchdown, 34-27.
Steve, a little one-on-one. I had to do some yard work for a Michelob Light. I don't have to do any yard work.
Would good friends really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light. And that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
102 to 98. How did you do it? Defense?
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
Ram Tough Dodge Ram 50. The small import pickup with the most powerful engine. More than Toyota or Datsun. More than all other small trucks. Biggest payload and load area in its wheelbase class. More than all other small trucks. Dodge Ram 50. The small pickup for the biggest jobs.
Dodge trucks are Ram Tough.
Now make your best deal on all new Dodge imports. Then get $350 to $680 direct from Dodge.
Hi, I'm JoJo Starbuck.
I'm Ken Shelley.
Join us along with Dorothy Hamill, Linda Frattiani, Ty Babylonia, and Randy Gardner
on January 18th on NBC Sports World.
Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen in San Diego, delighted to bring you this AFC Championship game. The Eagles had the top defense against scoring in the NFL this year. No matter who they play, they know they're going to be seeing a lot of offense. Oakland 34, San Diego 27. And a wild championship game before 52,000. The sellout in San Diego. Benershka to Whittington. And he's out at the 25-yard line. Now the defense of the Chargers will try to stop the Raiders and get Dan Fouts in the offense the ball for a possible tying touchdown.
I think he has to change at this point in the game, Dick. Offensively, Plunkett's major concern, don't turn the ball over. If he can, he'll control the football and eat that clock. They'd like to tick it down as much as they can. The defense, on the other hand, thinking turnover, tackle the football, strip it, but don't let them move it down the field and eat the clock.
The last two possessions by Oakland led to field goals and long drives, each of those drives consuming more than 5 minutes. Van Egan gains nearly 5. Bob Horn, the middle backer from Oregon State, the tackler. 6 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll keep our eye on the clock. Oakland leading 34-27. The Raiders have been in front since the third play of the game when Jim Plunkett threw a pass over the middle to Kenny King, went through King's fingertips, deflected downfield, and Raymond Chester of the Raiders picked it off and completed a 65-yard scoring play. Raiders built the lead at 28-7. San Diego coming back to within 4. Van Egan. First down as he gets 10 more. Preston and Horn, the tacklers. Philadelphia won earlier today as Dick Vermeil's tough Eagles stopped the Cowboys 20-7. Philadelphia's first visit to the Super Bowl.
We expected the Oakland Raiders to run at the right side of the Charger defense. No question that they have done that, especially late in the game, and they've made big yardage doing it.
Staying on the ground, that first down. Clock shows 5:31, 5:30, 5:29. Van Egan for 4 more. Stay with us here on NBC television tonight. After the conclusion of this game, for those that apply in the Eastern and Central time zones, you'll see Chips, followed by an outstanding motion picture, Magic, complete of excellent Sunday's entertainment on the National Broadcasting Company. That's later tonight, Chips and Magic, and of course at the regular times in the Mountain and Pacific zones.
Van Egan has really been a workhorse today, Dick. They're giving him a break. Derek Jensen, 31, into the backfield.
Down to 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Plunkett just does get it off. Kenny King to the 46, where it'll be 3rd and 4. Louis Kelcher leading the way. A day that found the players awakening to the sound of rain, something that no one expected, and that it has been nothing but sunshine here in the West for the last 2 months. But no rain during the course of the play. It stopped about noon today, and certainly not a factor. 4:17 left. For Plunkett. And it's a first down at the 48 to Arthur Whittington. Mike Williams made the tackle, and Plunkett gets another 4 downs.
Plunkett under pressure. Louis Kelcher going all the way around on a double stunt. Plunkett throws a nice strike to Whittington, tucks it away carefully and gets out of bounds. Here's the double stunt by Louis Kelcher. Watch him going all the way around the other tackle and the defensive end. But it's a quick timing pattern, and Plunkett gets it off. And now, Plunkett still eating the clock, moving it down the field. If he can do this, he can keep San Diego's offense off the field.
Especially if he can get at least a field goal out of the drive. Van Egan, the plow horse, up the middle. What a reliable, dependable back he has been for the Raiders through his 7 years in the league.
We've talked a great deal about the passing game today, a great deal about the quarterbacks, but I've got to believe that the running game by the Oakland Raiders has been the key to their success. They've been able to balance it tremendously. Mickey Marvin, Gene Upshaw, Dave Dalby, Art Shell, Henry Lawrence have done an excellent job up front of making room for those ball carriers.
And it was Derek Jensen, let's give 31 credit, who carried on that first down. This is Van Egan, and he is is pinned by Fred Dean on top. Don't check who's underneath that pile. It is 51 Woodrow Lowe. Oh, third down again for the Raiders. The clock running to the 3-minute mark. Big play. Fouts and the Chargers have all 3 timeouts left. Van Egan now has rushed for 70 yards, the top runner in the game. Both wide receivers to the right. Whoops. Wilbur Young invading the Oakland Raider backfield. Let's see if he was illegally invited. No. So it'll be now 3rd and about 1 instead of 3rd and 6, and that changes the whole play call.
We talked about mistakes. The fact that San Diego, which is a relatively experienced team, has made a lot of stupid mistakes today, and that's a stupid mistake. Not to belittle Wilbur Young, because he's played some excellent football here, but you can't afford to give away 5 yards in that kind of situation. Plunkett now a much easier opportunity to pick up the first down and take some more time off that clock.
And the way they're delicately measuring that spot, you can see from the hand of Cal Lepore that it's about 6 inches to go.
99 defense, 3rd down.
You see Big Wilbur, no one moving on the inside. Plunkett just getting out of the way. That's a lot of body coming at you.
Wilbur guessed wrong out of William Penn College of Iowa. So Plunkett needs just short yardage and brings in some extra blockers. Raymond Chester and Derek Ramsey will bookend the line. Todd Christensen is the wingback. Van Egan and King behind Plunkett. Van Egan. A first down, and now it is really tough for San Diego. The clock running down toward the 2-minute warning. Chris Barr anticipating a possible field goal, but now Plunkett hopes that they won't even have to kick one. They're going to try to chew up the clock. They don't need to run a play till the 2-minute timeout unless San Diego uses one of its timeouts. Why wouldn't they call time here, Merlin?
Well, they've only got 3, and I'm sure that has to be a concern for them. If they were going to call it, they should have called it instantly. They shouldn't have waited at all.
Yeah, they let about 22 seconds go by until the 2-minute warning, and Plunkett wisely will just let that official timeout occur. And now it's down to seconds. Timeout in San Diego. The Raiders have the ball and a big 7-point lead.
The Martins will cross our path 7 times today. Our name is S-Mark, and our company supply products they use, like breakfast strips, Mr. Martin's plant fertilizer, Mrs. Martin's bras and pantyhose, and swimsuits, Tom Martin's gas treatment, and stereo speakers. We're S-Mark, a big company with a big stake in the Martins and in you.
This is the view from Olympus. Olympus OM2. Top of the line. Top of a new world of single lens reflexes. Hold it. Focus and fire it. State of the art. Total sophistication of electronics. Total simplicity of use. Camera of professionals. Of people who take no less than excellence. Take no pictures less than great. Olympus OM2. Excellence by design.
Stay tuned, friends, for Chips and Magic, East and Central time zones. Of course, those 2 fine programs will be seen at the regular times in some of the western areas right after the conclusion of this game. Of course, we'll also go down into the locker room of the winners and the losers after this game. Oakland leads 34-27, 2 minutes left. Van Egan, no, Derek Jensen gets about 2, maybe 3 up the middle. And timeout called by the San Diego Chargers. They have 2 remaining, 1:56 left. Clock running out on San Diego. The Raiders lead by 7 in this AFC Championship game.
If you're considering a Ford Fairmont, here's a better idea. Dodge Aries K, with better mileage and more passenger seating standard, plus the great traction of front-wheel drive for less money. Just compare. Here's the Fairmont's mileage. Now here's the Aries. Quite an improvement. Fairmont seats 5, Aries seats 6. And when it comes to base sticker prices, Aries is less. Which is the better idea? Dodge Aries K. Now with 7% off the sticker price, Aries is $582 less than Fairmont. This is a limited time offer.
Taste the high country. Taste the high country. Taste Coors.
There's a place where the hawk soars free, where a man can be what he wants to be, where the air is crisp and the water's clear, and there's just one beer that's brewed up here.
Taste the high country. Climb up to Coors.
Second down and 8. 1 minute, 56 seconds left. The Chargers have spent one of their 3 timeouts. The Raiders, 2nd and 8. And there's a lot of thought on that sidelines. They're looking for a big play. They need a turnover. Ball at the 32. Van Egan to the 29. Timeout, San Diego. It'll be about 3rd down and 4. The Chargers need the football. A reminder, 2 weeks from today, it'll be the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl against the winner of today's game. We invite you to tune in early Eastern time, 1 o'clock for the NFL Year in Review, a spectacular show featuring the highlights of this great season. And there'll be some basketball for you as well as the Buckeyes host Virginia's Cavaliers. I don't know, I think that game's at Virginia. You'll see big Ralph Sampson of the Cavaliers. And then the pregame at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock in the West, Super Bowl 15. And it'll be the Eagles. And right now, that team in the black and silver playing in its 10th championship game in 14 years.
Dick, I can't help but remember an incident in the game we did here, the Charger-Oakland game. A critical 4th down situation. Oakland down by 7 points late in the game. Pastorini went down, and Plunkett had to come off the sideline. It was one of the first chances he'd had to play in that year. Came in and threw, under all that pressure, threw a touchdown pass to Raymond Chester. I've got to feel that maybe that was the beginning of his comeback and his great story, his Cinderella story during this season.
It's been a Cinderella story for the Raiders, certainly in the what was regarded start of the year the toughest division of the NFL, the AFC West. No one really thought it'd be the Oakland Raiders here. Now it's 3rd and 5. San Diego must stop the Raiders or Oakland will run out the clock. 1:52 left. Plunkett's going to run it for a 1st down. He got the 1st down and fell at the 24. And now the Chargers can call time for only the last time.
And I think that might write the end of the Chargers story. A wonderful story it has been during this past season. But the colors in the Super Bowl are going to be silver and black.
They have not called time. 1:23, 1:22 left. The season that began shortly after the 4th of July, the hard work of summer, the 4 preseason games, the highs and lows of a 16-game season, and the wild card Oakland Raiders, although they did indeed tie 11-5 with a record with San Diego. And now it's just chew up the clock, 1:02, 1:01, and there now is the final timeout exercised by the San Diego Chargers with 1:01 left in the game. And now, unless the Raiders make a horrendous error, Oakland can make its plans for New Orleans. 1:01 left.
The world of business machines. A confusing tangle of equipment, capabilities, and promises. But out of it emerges Exxon Office Systems Company. Quix, the intelligent typewriter that speeds typing of information. Videc word processors that change, rearrange, and store text. Quip machines that send and receive documents by phone. Now all of them have the commitment of one of America's largest corporations. Introducing Exxon Office Systems.
Instead of spending your dollars for carpenters, plumbers, and electricians, you can start saving them and get a free gift too. Look for this announcement in your Sunday paper. It tells about Time Life Book's Home Repair and Improvement Series. But what you will know because you're watching now is how to get this $2 Canvas Handyman's apron free. See this S on the reply card? Just make it into a $sign, and we'll send you your handyman's apron as a gift. So look in Sunday's paper, your mail, or national magazines.
Second down play from the 21 of San Diego. The Raiders already starting to congratulate each other along the far sidelines. Plunkett needs only to take the snap and fall on it. That's what he'll do. And the clock will start to run. And as it does in this final minute, our thanks to an exceptional NBC crew. I just can't recall, Merlin, a better job done. Every great play was seen from an angle, 2 angles, 3 replays. The executive producer of NBC's NFL Football is Don Olmeyer. Coordinating producer Ted Nathanson. Telecast of this 1981 AFC Championship has been produced by Larry Cirillo. Directed by Ted Nathanson. Replay producer George Finkel. Our replay director was Ken Fouts. NFL 80 was produced by David Stern. Directed by Bob Levy. Wait for the visuals to catch up here. Our technical directors are Ray Figelski and Sal Nagita. Associate producers Mike Hadley, Peter Rolfe, and David Neal. Associate directors Richard Klein, Mary Buda, John Filippelli. Thanks to our spotters Bill Edwards, Dan Sexton. Also Bob Sexton and Dennis Mnuchin, Joe Costanzas, our statistician. Down to the final seconds. 5-4. The Oakland Raiders and the Philadelphia Eagles go to Super Bowl 15. Can certainly appreciate whatever words Dan Fouts offered him. If anyone knows what it's like to be down, up, and then down at the bottom of the pile and then recover, it's Jim Plunkett of Oakland.
Interesting how the 2 seasons of the Chargers and Plunkett have coincided. As we said, that first appearance for that 1 pass, his first start of the season against the San Diego Chargers, and now he beats the Chargers to take his Oakland Raiders. Great job by their defense today and working on Dan Fouts. Their offensive line gave Plunkett the time, opened holes for their receivers. A tremendous performance by them.
And as Glenn Dawson and John Brody indicated as they analyzed the game, that the Raiders would have to establish the running game. And Van Egan with 85 yards, 3 long, time-consuming drives by Oakland, 2 to field goals and 1 to run out the clock. And Van Egan was the star in the 4th quarter.
What a strange finish to a season that started out rather awkwardly for the Oakland Raiders. Many said just a rebuilding year, and Oakland took exception to that. But they have 14 new faces on the team this year. Incredible that Al Davis, Tom Flores, and all of these Oakland Raider players have brought it to such an outstanding fruition.
The winningest team in football the last 20 years, and the Oakland Raiders, the few fans able to muster tickets in San Diego, have every cause to celebrate. We'll be right back after this word.
On Chips, Punch and John get into heavy trouble when they come to the aid of a lady hard hat. Then, a blockbuster movie, the first time on TV, a ventriloquist, his girlfriend, and a dummy. Who's the killer? Magic, a terrifying love story starring Anne Margaret. Sunday, an exciting lineup right after the AFC Championship on NBC.
Nellie awaits the birth of her child, but her in-laws have already arrived.
This baby will be Jewish.
On Little House, then 300 Miles for Stephanie, a world premiere.
Father, let her live so I can love her.
The true story of a father who wouldn't accept death.
She's gonna die, Beto.
Stop, Rosa! And is packed with God to spare his daughter.
Over 300 miles I'll walk. Run.
Tony Orlando in a brilliant dramatic debut right after Little House Monday.
Here, the Oakland Raiders have earned themselves a trip to the Super Bowl where they will meet the Philadelphia Eagles. Final 34-27. This is a team that you could have bet against early in the season, early on. A lame duck team, perhaps playing its last season in Oakland. One that lost its quarterback early on. One that was 2-3 after 5 weeks. One that made it as a wild card entry. And one that it seems had everything going against it. Had to go into Cleveland and had to play a team in an icebox and managed to win, and had to come in here to San Diego. Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett. Congratulations, James. It's not a bad way to end a Cinderella season. season.
Not at all. It's, you know, for a while I thought I was out of football, and for this to happen to me this year is tremendous.
This team was 2-3 after 5 weeks. Dante Pastorini went down with an injury. Jim Plunkett comes in. Could you have ever believed this could be possible?
Well, I'm pretty optimistic, but we came a long way. We're playing badly at the beginning of the year. We put things together offensively and defensively, and this is the result. It's terrific.
It's an outstanding year. Your happiest?
Oh, my happiest by far.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. I appreciate it. Let's see who else we can. Tom Flores, come on. Coach Tom. Tom, one quick one. Congratulations on an outstanding year.
Thank you very much.
Besides outscoring San Diego, what do you want to accomplish coming in here?
Well, we wanted to contain them because we knew they had a great offense, and we knew we had to contain them and keep them out of the end zone. We had to score points because they scored points, and we scored. Our offense was great, and our defense really played well.
This has been a marvelous season in terms of character for this team because, as I said at the top, they could have found a lot of reasons to quit. Tough season in Oakland, fans not necessarily behind what was going on with the team, and then playing as a wild card entry. You deserve a great deal of credit.
Well, thank you very much. I'll tell you, this is a great bunch of guys. We played hard together. We hung in, and I'm very proud to be a part of this team. I'm proud of them. They're great.
And one final thing, I want you to be here for this as I go back to Dick Enberg with it. You're a man who holds a grudge a long time. First pro football game played in San Diego, September 18th, 1961. Raiders lost 44-0. Their first score, the Chargers' first score, was an interception picked off a quarterback named Tom Flores. This word makes up for it, doesn't it?
That's right. It really makes up. It's been a long time. We deserve to be where we are. We really do.
Tom, congratulations. We'll see you in New Orleans. Let's go on over to the San Diego dressing room and join Mike Adamle, who's with Gene Klein.
Well, Bryant, players and organization people will be the first to tell you that losing a ball game is not the end of the world, but it's got to hurt after coming so far and playing so well. Gene, first of all, the thing about that people have been asking about the Chargers' personnel, they're a team that runs up great numbers of statistically, defense and offensively, yet they're a mystery team. They play so well in spurts, and then sometimes they fall apart. How did you feel about today's contest?
Well, it was no mystery. I just think the ball bounced the other way. We came back from a 21-point deficit. We damn near made it. This team has nothing but character. They're nothing but fine football players and fine gentlemen. We're sorry we lost, but we hold our heads high, darn high. We're proud of the season we had. We came awful close, and we'll just go to work next year.
Is it a particularly bitter pill to swallow because of the fact that it is the Oakland Raiders?
Wouldn't make any difference if we lost to San Diego High. We lost. That doesn't make any difference at all. It makes no difference who you play. We needed this game to go down in New Orleans. We didn't get it. They got it, and that's the way it is.
Gene, thanks very much for joining us, and again, congratulations on the season.
Thank you.
Okay, right now let's go up to John Brody and Lenny Dawson.
Thank you, Mike. I think you can reflect on a lot of reasons, Leonard. It was one of the best playoff games that I've ever seen, and personally, it's a tribute to the Oakland Raiders. As it has been said so often, this was a transition year. How good are they going to get in the future? I think it's the swiftest transition any team ever made. Plunkett's got to be their guy of the future, as he is today. Any reflections on his play?
Yes, you know, we said before the ball game that Plunkett has to be patient and try to throw underneath the linebackers, and he can't afford to turn the football over to this very explosive San Diego football team. He did exactly that. Plus, he added another dimension that he has done in the past, and he's taken off on his own and come up with some valuable yards. He scored one touchdown, and I think it was an outstanding performance by Plunkett.
And on the other side of the coin, Dan Fouts had a rough time, a lot of scoring opportunities, and that's the way these kind of games really finish up. One team gets a few good breaks, takes capitalization of it, and the game is over. Oakland Raiders go into the Super Bowl, and Brian Gumbo, we're going back down to you.
Okay, JB, Lenny Dawson, thank you very much. I'm standing here with Mark Van Egan, who was responsible for an Oakland Raider ground game that went over the 100-yard mark today. Mark, you were around the last time the Raiders made the trip to Super 11. This team is a lot different, isn't it, in terms of character, in terms of style?
Very much so, in that back then we pretty much, we almost conceded ourselves a championship. Getting to the championship, only thing we had to do back then was just win that last game. This year was so different in that we weren't supposed to go anywhere, so every game was a complete challenge for us. And I would like to say that I knew we were going to do it way back then, but I didn't. I just knew that from mid-season on, I knew we were rolling really well.
It seemed like because of problems on and off the field that it was a Raiders against the world kind of temperament on the team. Do you buy that?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think you could have much more adversity that has been happening around our team in the last 18 months or so, with people leaving and possible move to another city and a quarterback controversy and he breaking his leg and a new quarterback and so many new faces in the lineup. I guess nobody could really imagine that we'd be where we are now, except we did. From midseason on, we knew we had something, and well, we're here. I'm happy.
Mark Van Eden, congratulations.
Thank you.
See you in New Orleans. Let's go on back out on the field now to another person who believed all along the Raiders would be headed for New Orleans. That's Newsweek's Pete Axtone. Peter.
Thanks, Bryant. Kind of a sad scene for San Diego fans out here on the field, drifting out, nothing to look at, but ironically the scoreboard's showing the stats. The Chargers always win the stats when they lose because that's the kind of team they are. But I'd like to mention defense on this big offensive day. You know, after his last championship game in Denver, Lester Hayes was so discouraged, he asked Al Davis maybe he should play safety. Maybe he didn't have the heart to stand the pressure of being a cornerback. Right now, I think it's safe to say Lester Hayes, considering that he's playing in the era when you can't even bump at the line of scrimmage anymore, may just be the most talented cornerback ever. He took the game away from Jefferson today, and I think it showed on those last few catches when J.J. didn't come down with balls that he usually did. So on a big offensive day, I'd like to leave it with a salute to Lester, and back to you, Bryant.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much. One other thing about Lester, I shook hands with him. The stick-em. No microphone leaves my hand. Let's take a look at the highlights. Our final, again, was 34-27. It was a ball game that opened with Plunkett and Pastorini shaking on the sideline and Plunkett and Fouts putting the ball in the air early up. Third play from scrimmage. Plunkett goes up top, bounces off Kenny King's hands into the arms of Raymond Chester. Yes, the John Mackey rule is in effect. Chester takes it all the way. Oakland in front, 7-0. Dan Fouts came back quickly, though he was intercepted by Lester Hayes, but he kept throwing through this 48-yard strike into the arms of Charlie Joyner, number 35, Dwayne Osteen was all over Joyner. Still Charlie came down with the ball. 7-7, this still in the first period. After that, the Raiders got one to make it 14-7 before Plunkett found Kenny King in the corner of the end zone to make it 21-7, putting the Raiders in front. When they opened it up to 28-7, it seemed like it might be a rout, but before the half ended, it was a Fouts to Joyner, 8-yard touchdown pass that closed the gap to 28-14. That's how they broke for intermission. Perhaps things could have been different early on in the third period. Johnny Jefferson over the middle here, wide open in a 28-14 ball game, but JJ, the great JJ, over 1,000 yards, could not hang on. And so it was left to Mike Fuller to try to get San Diego Chargers back into the ball game. 28-17 at this point when he got the San Diego Chargers in good field position with a 28-yard punt return. The drive was concluded when Chuck Muncie took it over from the 6, 28-24. But that was as close as the Chargers could get because the Raiders held firm, and when Barr kicked a 23-yard field goal, they assured the final of 34-27. It was just left to Jim Plunkett and company to run off the clock, and who would have ever thought back in week number 6 that the AFC title game would come down to Jim Plunkett just running off the clock to send the Oakland Raiders on their way to New Orleans. So our final again, the Oakland Raiders turned back the San Diego Chargers by a score of 34-27. They're on their way to New Orleans in Super 15 to meet Philadelphia. You'll see it right here on NBC. I'll be there, and Dick Enberg, I know you will too. Richard?
Bryant, looking forward to it. I guess Merlin Olsen, when you score 61 points in a game, it's hard to talk about defense, but you have your feelings in that regard.
Well, I think the battle in the trenches was won by Oakland, and that really turned the tide. They were able to get pressure with a 4-man rush. They didn't have to blitz to get Fouts uncomfortable in there, which is something we talked about early. And on the other line, on the other side of it, they were able to handle the defensive line for the San Diego Chargers, make room for those backs, give them some room upfield, and I think the running game and the battle in the trenches turned in Oakland's direction, and that really made a big difference for them.
Of course, the 3 turnovers, it was true to form. You pointed it out early in the telecast. One team gives up the ball more often than anyone in the league. San Diego, they did. Oakland didn't cough it up once.
It's a shame that one of these teams has to walk off the field losing, and they'll think about this last game instead of all the great victories they've had during this year. But a good matchup, a well-fought, hard-fought game, and a worthy champion on its way to Miami or to New Orleans. Don't go to Miami. On their way to New Orleans to meet the Eagles.
And when you look ahead to the Super Bowl from the American Conference point of view, you think about one personality, Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett won the Heisman Award at Stanford in 1970. His coach, his quarterback coach at Stanford, was Dick Vermeil, now the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Tom Flores from the College of the Pacific and Vermeil from San Jose State were opposing quarterbacks in a big game in Stockton in 1959. And they've got the biggest of all coming up. They'll be matched across the sidelines in the Superdome in New Orleans 2 weeks from today. Congratulations, Philadelphia and Oakland. And now stay tuned for Chips, followed by the thriller Magic, except for our Mountain and Pacific stations where Chips and Magic will be seen at their regularly scheduled time.
A promotion.